Hey, how are you doing?
Okay. So Darren and I put a post out there promising that we would share some of the testimonies that we have walked through and that the Lord has done in our lives. And here we are.
So just looking back in time and seeing how God has moved and in the moments as we were experiencing them, it was like these almost catastrophic events in time periods.
Hey, before we go any deeper, y'all need to know that this is not fancy. We're sitting in our bedroom. There's nothing polished. This is just very raw, but we want to just share the faithfulness of the Lord. As we are contending, honestly, we don't even know what we're contending for. We just know that we need provisions for the next season and the next chapters of our book.
Contending for more breakthrough.
Yeah. And so we have so many documented testimonies, not where the Lord provided $50, but where he set us on a path of multiplication. And I just think that it's the best thing to do. It says in the word that we overcome by
the word of our testimony.
Right. And also Apostle just spoke about declarations and proclamations. And I wrote one. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. Maybe I'll post it. At least I'll post it with Facebook.
Yeah.
So you guys can see kind of what we're doing. And maybe you can start doing that, with your family. While we're not always great about it, declarations, family mission and vision, aligning yourself with those things are really dear to our heart. And we find ourselves in this current season leaning more into that. And so I think it's really special that today, our first actual day of Thanksgiving break, we spent the day together. And that is a testimony in itself that everyone is joyful
at
home together, not running the roads. Anyways, so that just kind of sets us up a little bit.
So I think the first one we want to talk about is the safe.
Mm-hmm. Was that the first thing? Was that the first one that we really...
I think that was the first time where we
noticed that it was the Lord, maybe.
That God was working on our behalf. He's always been working on our behalf, but I think in our deeper walk as Christ followers, we have definitely seen provision over the years, and he's come through different people in different times. But this was definitely one of those Red Sea God moments where there was not a man or a woman who...
It manifested.
It just literally manifested.
Okay, so set up for this one. I was pregnant with Lawson and had taken a job closer, which was a big step, but it was time. I had worked in Garland, which was a long ride to and from.
With traffic, it was close to an hour. And Hudson was
4.
3 or almost 4.
And I had worked there for 10 years. So leading up to this, I took a big step of faith and moved to a optical practice that was near our home. But in the midst of this transition that we were in, we found out we were having Lawson. So I shared with her, hey, FYI, I'm pregnant. My old boss will probably take me back.
Yeah.
Understanding the situation, at least to get me through maternity leave, because it was an established practice and I had other things going there. But anyways, long story short, she was like, no, I love that. I'm so excited. In fact, we will retrofit your new office so that if your mom wants to come here and keep Lawson, watch her for you here at the office, that would be great. Or if there's a situation where you need to run home real quick, you're literally not even a mile down the road. So it was great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Until
it wasn't.
She decided she actually didn't want an office manager.
Yeah.
Our personalities just clashed.
So that put us in a bind financially.
Oh, yeah, because she fired me.
And
pregnant. At that point, 7 months.
That was 50% of our income.
And then that put me in a stressful situation.
Yeah. So
I was on bed rest.
Rachel was on bed rest.
It just
racking
spiraled.
up more hospital bills.
Oh my goodness. I was in the hospital every weekend. But it was,
Then I started a new job.
Stress.
And so I was further away from home.
That was a catapult, though, in your career.
It was.
But the enemy was trying to intervene because you were also in school.
Yeah.
And you got that job. A dear, sweet friend recommended you for that position when you didn't even have the credentials they were requiring.
Yeah.
But with the idea that you were about to graduate.
And it was on a person's word. And so come down to the fact that, it's like a week or two before graduation and I'm not able to pay for the tuition because how it worked at that time, at that location, you pay for your tuition and then you can graduate. You pay a semester at a time,
That's good. You don't walk away with a bunch of debt.
Right. So that happened and I had to share that information with Rachel.
That was bad. That was real bad.
And it was just...
But it was thousands. It wasn't a little bit. It was a lot of money.
And we didn't have it at that time. And...
So we were praying that no one would ask him questions until December when we could hopefully get our lives together enough for him to walk and get his diploma. At this point, it's like it has nothing to do with grades and everything to do with that. So that's the setup. He was working in Irving, too, at that point. And so I feel like you were driving in 2 hours and home 2 hours.
Yeah, I would get to the office at like 6:30 in the morning, and I wouldn't get home until 7 or 7:30 at night.
If not later. Because no one came into the office until after 9.
Yeah. And I was a new guy. I was learning things and all that, so...
It was wild.
It was lots of fun. And then I'd get home, and Rachel would be in the same place I left her at 5:30 in the morning.
Because I was on bed rest.
And it was just...
I was so swollen. Can we give a minute to my ankles and my feet and my toes and my whole everything? It was a mess. So anyways, that's just a backstory. We very quickly were thrown into half of our income. And then here's the fun part. You have to remember, we had just the year before sold our home and moved in to a home where my parents and us, we live together. We have a little baby compound here. Mm-hmm. So we're responsible for half of the,
so that
payment of things. So anyways, so in amongst all of this, Darren's brother calls. And
and then he said, hey, would you guys like to go on a cruise with us later this year? And
it was within 2 months, Darren.
It was October, I guess.
Yeah.
And that was right before or after Lawson had been born. It was
she was 4 months old once we left.
The same time. And so we said yes.
We laughed. Well, so it's Southwest.
Friends and family.
Mm-hmm,
we
fly
had
free, basically.
Family member who was a band member on one of the boats. So we got a great price on a cruise. But so
it was hilarious. I forgot about this part. I said that this was going to be quick, but it's not. So, this particular testimony. Do you remember with Dr. Beep? I was planning her vacation.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I forgot about that.
So, I was helping her. I did a lot of stuff at the office, but I also just kind of helped her.
Personal assistant.
Personally,
stuff.
you know, and so we were talking. I even was helping her, like, pick out her clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, sending her Amazon links, things like that. And I was a part of her planning her vacation. Did you know that woman that fired me, she was on that
cruise, and Rachel saw her several times.
Multiple times. It's funny. I knew her whole itinerary. You know, it's
and
just
her
funny.
Outfits.
It's funny. She didn't wear the right ones. It's funny.
So
She's
great.
literally down the road, and it's so great because I used to have a really hard time. I'd drive by, my skin would crawl. And then as the Lord worked on me, I began to bless her practice. And not that my blessings are like raking in the cash for her, but it's always full.
Yeah, you have to bless your enemies.
Well, I was not in a place at that point to bless my enemy. And she did not obviously want to talk to me either. Well, so the reason that we share about the vacation is, first of all, God's good and he's really funny. It was definitely not the time to be going on vacation, but we were blessed with a really awesome opportunity.
And so
we needed
our passports.
Okay, but hold on. So we had sold our home in Forney.
Yes.
And we had to do some things here in this home, so we paid, you know, a big chunk of what we made to do some small renovations here. And then we saved $10,000 for a rainy day. Listen, I've never had savings in my life. So it felt real good to know that $10,000 was sitting there. But unfortunately, through this hardship that we had, you know, I was very quickly reminded of how fast $10,000 will go. So we didn't even have that to pay for Darren's school. Remember, that's still floating in the air. So, anyways, go ahead.
So I went to the safe to get our birth certificates out. And I found the birth certificates, but I also found a bank envelope with $10,000 in cash.
What?
That I hadn't put there, Rachel hadn't put there. We checked with her mom and dad, and they were like, no, we didn't put it there. How would we have done that? We don't know the code. So, I called Rachel into the bedroom and I said, hey, did you put this here? And she said, no. Where did it come from? I said, I didn't put it there.
It's so funny because he's so not dramatic, but he was so dramatic. He laid out the $100 bills on our bed. And I don't know if you guys know what $10,000 laid out in $100 bills looks like, but it takes up a large amount of space.
I've only seen it in the movies.
It looked like a drug deal went down. I thought that Al Pacino was going to be in my bathroom.
So, not only were we able to take care of my school bill, and I was able to graduate, and we were able to, I think that cruise cost us maybe $1,000 for all three of us.
Darren, no. It was $125 a person.
Oh, gosh. It was even less.
Everything was included.
Yeah, everything was included.
Even the captain gave us, special desserts every night in our room.
Yeah.
And they would come great. It was the best time. Honestly, it had a porthole, the room.
Yeah.
And it was way down low. It was a junky room.
We slept there, though. So
but it was the most fun. As soon as they know family is on board, they really love that.
Because the crew members, I mean, they live there. And so they want to make sure that the crew members are happy.
I just think it's like an added bonus to the whole thing is that we got special treatment on this cruise going back that Dr. Beep was on there and paid extra for all these things. And the Lord said, no, that was an injustice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
So that's the first And there's a lot more details that we could throw
Yeah.
in, but that's
So
the
we were
first.
restored that $10,000.
Yeah.
It did go pretty quick.
Yeah,
though.
but it kept us through a difficult time and basically kept us while you were receiving unemployment and then into the next venture that you were able to start for, which helped us for a few years.
Recruiting.
So,
Yeah. But in that process, though, Darren, you have to remember, I went to a bankruptcy attorney.
yes, so that was the next. This is the next.
So about a year later, which is wild to think, I did not ever go back to work full time. I did not have my recruiting gig at that point. And we lived so frugally.
Yeah.
Beans and rice, but I don't remember going. I mean, it was sad time because I wanted to shop and stuff, but it was cool. It was okay. But what I do remember is being in that office, and my parents came home actually from a cruise. They were avid cruisers at that time, and my dad bought me a pair of diamond earrings, and I just thought that was the sweetest thing. And I'm sitting in that lady's office, and she said, if you have any jewelry that's worth more than $600, you need to gift it to someone, or they will take it.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there thinking, this is not,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. This is not the way. But to be honest with you, we were over $50,000 in debt. I remember tearing it up in our living room in prayer. I don't know if you probably weren't home because you were never home.
I was working.
But I just remember I did a live back when we were a part of Pedro Adeo. I'm sorry. Don't be mad at me. He'll never listen to this. But I remember listening to one of his podcasts, and he had on, oh no, what's his name? Jim Baker.
Jim Baker.
And he talked about proclaiming and decreeing and declaring, and how the Lord cares about everything that concerns you.
Yep.
And that you are more spirit than you are flesh. Like all the things that we know, but man, it hit different that day. Yep. And I remember literally standing in my kitchen, crying baby on my hip, barefoot. No, I'm just kidding. But I remember just saying, this is yours. I'm done. You have to fix this. And in the podcast, there was a teaching, and he showed us how to like write down everything that concerns you that's outside of your natural control. And I had 2 pages of copy paper written of debts. And this was not like handbags and dinners.
Yeah.
This is like Aldi and diapers. Yeah.
Well, and
electric bills.
And this is the same time period that I'm reminded of this because you told me about it, that you guys were declaring and decreeing, walking around the house, you and Hudson and Lawson,
Yes.
and you were saying
hold on, don't say it because it'll lead into the next thing. Don't say it. But we were declaring the things that we wanted to see happen. Okay, so it was like that week, we couldn't even pay the credit cards. Y'all, this is very transparent. We couldn't even pay them. We paid our house notes. We put gas in Darren's car.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times random people just felt led to buy our groceries at Aldi.
Yeah, that's another testimony.
I'm telling you.
Crazy.
So, long story short, we had to let everything else go. And we had a lot of medical bills, too. With having Lawson, it was thousands of dollars out of pocket. Just because it was so complicated in the beginning. So, anyways, long story short, debts just began to be just broken and forgiven.
Yeah.
I remember the one. Remember we called, who did we call? What was his name?
I don't remember.
He was so kind. We had some awesome people in our lives at that point.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember his name.
Shoot.
But yeah.
We called him and we said, listen, we have a $13,000 debt and
Yes.
they want to settle it right now. It'll come to you.
Yeah.
They want to settle it, but they're on the other phone and it's
Yeah.
$4,000, but I have to pay it right this second.
Yeah.
Would you do it? Like, we were just so lost. Oh, yeah. Jim.
Jim Burgoon.
And he goes, do you have $4,000? Randomly.
Yes, we did.
We did. And when we had inherited a very small amount of money, and that was the first thing we did, is we said, okay, Lord, we'll do this.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's wild? When we added up that particular one, I didn't do it for anything else after this because I was just feeling very guilty about not fully paying my debt. But it was the exact amount. The $4,000 was the exact amount that we actually charged. Everything else was accrued interest and fees.
Yep.
Which is bizarre, and highway robbery.
So we were able to pay off $50,000 worth of debt at about 50%.
If not more.
Of what we owed.
I'm not trying to correct you, but I remember the number 75.
Oh.
Because it would have been almost the equivalent of an income.
Yeah.
And it was well over a year of not having it.
It was crazy.
So anyways, one thing after another, they just started calling us and asking.
Well, yeah, because they wanted their money.
I know, but usually you have to ask for that offer.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. No, they were at the point where they were making offers. So
the Lord gave us peace to move forward in each one of those situations.
Yeah. So we did not file bankruptcy.
Right. We stayed whole.
And we were able to, pay those off. Which, side note, for those of you who are in that situation, that is considered debt payoff, and any difference that you don't pay off, they'll send you a tax form. So it is considered income. So just so you know,
gotcha.
You still have to pay taxes on that. But.
Got 'em. I remember that.
So, but yeah, it was such a blessing and relief. That first one, I remember that first one. We were on the phone with Jim.
We were so scared to make the wrong decision.
Yeah, but when we did it, it was like, okay, yeah, we're going to do this.
Because we were trying, like I said, we were trying to honor the Lord in the whole time. We'd probably never been closer to the Lord in our past than then. And isn't that ironic how that happens? But I mean, we were a part of that group, and it was kind of controversial because the whole 100X thing, because there were some people in there that were pretty wild, but now I'm like, thank you, Jesus.
Right. We'd have in the right place at the right time.
We'd have filed bankruptcy unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was that. All of that debt was wiped. And our credit was restored without having to do anything.
No.
Within less than a year.
Yeah, we didn't have to file with anybody or anything.
We bought a car.
Yeah, 2 cars.
2 cars in 2020.
In 2020, we bought the Armada and
with better interest rates than we have right now. This is ridiculous. Okay, things are just crazy right now. Not regarding our credit.
So that kind of rolls into the Armada and all that happened with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the reason I didn't want you to say anything about... So I guess y'all get the gist that we had 10 grand, we spent 10 grand, and the Lord put 10 grand back in there. Cute note is that when we sold our house in 2015, that's... the bills would be marked 2015 and earlier. Those bills were all very crisp, stick together 2017 bills. That's crazy. That was the Lord. Okay, so then that rolls us into, we figured out this works. And we were hosting young adults.
Yeah.
We were still getting back on our feet. We weren't even 100% debt free yet.
No.
And so we... get a phone call from friends.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, we have this house in Rosemary Beach. we would love for you guys to go on vacation with us. Can you get there? If you can get there, we will take care of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like, man, I really just don't know that we should do that, because just the car and the gas and all that.
We rented a car to go there.
We had to.
Because our car was...
We had the Lincoln still.
It was older. It was still reliable here, but we just didn't want to take it on a long road trip.
Well, it had 150,000 miles on it.
So
long story short, they were so kind to us. But when we were marching around our home and declaring and decreeing and saying our proclamations, is that how you say that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hudson and Lawson and I would stroll around our home and we would say,
our home is paid for, our debt is paid for, and we're going to the beach.
Yeah.
And that was before they even called and said anything about it. It was just one of those things, you know, like we as parents, we want to be debt free. And then, you know, it's just like...
Well, after the cruise, Hudson wanted to go back to the
beach. It's just like a kid, you know, they want something. And God's like, yeah, all of your needs are provided for, and I'm going to give you the desires of your heart as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
don't cry.
Why don't we ask? And it's like in the Bible, it says, you have not because you ask not. And it's like, well, yeah, we should declare and decree more often.
Man, some angels were dispatched. So we went to the beach, and they took such good care of us. It was honestly the most humbling and beautiful experience. It was just like the grace of the Father through our community. It was so sweet. Especially in a time where, I mean, I remember having conversations with individuals and letting them know, not only are we in this situation, but like, I can't even go to Chick-fil-A. I can't even have community with another mom. Here I am stuck at home, can't go anywhere, have not a penny. I remember telling him, I don't even have car change to put gas in my car to go to, like, have a coffee.
Yeah.
Or...
I mean, there was a time where we were hosting people in our home and going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And it was $40 for that 1 week, including hosting people in our home.
Praise God for Aldi.
And we continued to do it because we knew that that's what we were called to do.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But I just remember the conversations, and there was no love offering. Should I not say that? There was no love offering.
Not a pity. It's just, there was...
No, but let me tell you what there was. I remember being in Aldi one day.
Yeah.
And the Lord said to me, I was literally adding it up in my phone with tax, because I knew that we had young adults split between 2 different cities. But I knew we were doing a prayer and worship night, and everyone was coming to our home. So that would have been probably close to 40 young adults. And I remember being in Aldi, getting bow tie pastas, because that was the cheaper one instead of the spaghetti noodles for whatever reason. Adding it up, still needing to get diapers for Lawson and a couple of food pouches. And I heard the Lord say, the enemy's about to pay for this meal. And I had these 2 ladies that were following me around, and they said, we'd love to take care of this for you, if that's okay. Now, I'm not sure why exactly they were the enemy, but they paid for our groceries that day. It was really sweet. There's been multiple times that's happened, specifically at Aldi. So if you guys need something, hit it up.
The Lord's angels are at Aldi. Well, and it just goes to, like, not leaning on the arm of flesh, not leaning on anyone else, but God. Like, God will supply. He didn't say man will supply. He said, my God shall supply all your needs according to his glorious riches in Christ Jesus. So when you lean on his word, when you declare and decree his word has to come back. It will not return void.
Yeah, I was still sideways about it, though. The Lord's grown me a lot.
So there's that. Those nuggets. I mean, that's more than I think we were even thinking about.
Right.
But then I think, like, recently, like, it's just like, you think, you've seen everything. Like, God just, like, yep, he's done it. It's like the children of Israel. It's like they crossed the Red Sea, they crossed the Jordan River, they saw the walls of Jericho fall. And that's part of the reason why we're doing this, is we're documenting the things that we can remember that God has done for us, for posterity, but also for the glory of God.
Amen.
Like, more than anything, to give him glory. And, we overcome by the word of our testimony. So, like, go back and document the things that God has done for you. And guess what? Won't he do it again?
Yeah. Well, I just am reminded that multiplication, it sounds like, man, they were just, in the pit for a long time. That was an extended season. It was probably about 18 months. It was probably right under 2 years. But that it took for us to catch up and get back on our feet and feel normal again. But that job, I could just go back and I see the enemy at work and I see the Lord's hand, because that job that you needed to graduate for is the reason you're doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Which has multiplied you blank number X.
Yeah.
And it's like, thank you, Father, for your provision. And thank you for not letting us get tripped up in our flesh, because if we would have messed that up somehow, because we were emotionally a hot mess too at that point. I had just had a baby. Lord have mercy. Okay, so then I think about, like, just in life, because we live in a fallen world and the enemy is after kill, steal, destroy. I think about how he's come through even recently. And I remember just the other day being just really irritated about the fact that, Lawson and I were in a pretty major accident. And while she is, alive and I'm alive, we definitely went through a lot with that. But even getting restored there, I was standing outside cleaning my front door and just reminded, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And I started saying that, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
Well, and the thief has to repay 7 times.
Well, then he still has more repaying to do.
He has a lot more repaying.
But, we had to take on a debt that we didn't have before. We had to buy a new vehicle.
Well, your car was almost paid for.
Which I was happy about.
And I had a vehicle that was...
Not paid for,
but one that I had desired to have for quite some time.
Right.
And it was the exact one. Like, we went and searched it out, but
we couldn't afford a new vehicle and your Jeep.
So we did what we could. We got the vehicle that we needed you to have. And
yeah, we traded Darren's Jeep in. But the whole point of it is we had to make some big boy, big girl decisions and make a shift. The sad part about it is it would have locked us back into another loan that was more than we were paying on the other vehicle. Yeah. It was just not a great time to buy a car, to be honest with you. But, someone sweeped in and was our personal bank for us, so we didn't have to absorb doesn't matter what your credit is, or your interest, or how much. Yep, none of that mattered. The interest rates on used cars were like 10, 11, 12%. That added almost $300 a month onto our note. So that was the first blessing,
Yeah.
is that we had that. And that was an absolute angel.
That was a little over a year ago. And then in the last month or so, it was completely forgiven.
Yeah. Don't pay me anymore.
So, like, it's
Don't pay
over
me anymore.
100K in between the 50,000 or 70,000 in debt being canceled.
In 2017.
The 50K or whatever it was in the vehicle, and then the 10,000 in cash. Like, God has come through for us in the last 8-ish years.
Yeah.
So many more times than this. But we're doing him a disservice, and we're doing others a disservice by not sharing this. Like, this is the good news of the gospel.
This is what walking in the kingdom looks like. Not that you're a freeloader.
No.
And not that you don't give and tithe. And, oh my goodness, that's another one. What came in when we had a young lady that was doing a missions trip, and we had no money, and then we got our tax return back.
We had some extra, and
I asked her, how much do you lack? And it was the exact amount. And it was like beacons, ding, 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 ding,
I was at work, and we had talked about it, or maybe we hadn't. And I was just feeling like we need to, whatever the amount is, we need to find out, and we need to tell her, okay, we're finishing that off for you. And we did. And it was like,
was a huge breakthrough.
It was during this same time period.
Oh, I know. Believe me.
That it was like, bam. So
probably the debt's forgiven.
Yeah, I think so, because it had to have been after the 10,000. But
yeah,
when we stay faithful, when we stay obedient and humble to the call that God has called us to do, and He is faithful. He is so faithful.
So those are the smallest nuggets. In amongst all of that, Hudson broke his leg.
Yeah.
Do you remember? That was all at the same time.
Yeah, that was like right near the end.
Yep. You're right. Oh, but that's when we had started the recruiting business.
Yeah, that was 100X.
And that was my very first deal.
Yep,
was made and placed.
Yeah, that was that day.
That same day,
that guy was placed. That he
on
broke
the
his
phone
leg.
with, we accept his offer.
March 31st or May 31st of 2018, 19.
And that same day, he broke his leg. And you
got the call on the way there.
Yeah.
Like, he had showed up for his first day of work.
And so, we continued through some rocky times, but in the end, even Hudson has gotten to see the goodness of the Lord and he watched the Lord take us on 2 trips in the middle of our deepest, darkest time.
And, kind of post that and coming into some more blessed times, we were able to vacation with our family during COVID.
Oh, we tore the roads up.
We went to
COVID.
Tennessee. We went to Florida. And we went again to Tennessee for Christmas. We got to see snow on Christmas Eve. Like,
in the hot tub.
It was like God outside. Just like smiling on us.
Yeah.
So, like.
This is good for me just to remember, because once you start to walk into that multiplication and things come to you easier just because you have the resources, you kind of forget what it was like to experience the joys of the fruit and stuff like that. Well, and the other part is it's a you did it kind of mentality that could come on when you recognize that it's like in the past, every one of those situations, or definitely God did it.
God did it.
But he still is doing it.
God did it.
Yeah, there still is doing it. So we are just in a time right now where we know that there is more.
There's more.
And, we're not driving Bentleys and have, we don't even have that 10 grand in our safe right now.
No.
But we know it's coming.
And the house is not paid for yet.
But it's coming.
It's coming.
So we'll keep you guys posted on the things that we're contending for. And as they come to pass, we'll share.
Yes, we're going to share. And we're...
And you'll get the ugly too.
I don't want to say... I apologize for not sharing and being more vocal. But I think that is something that we will do a better job of.
Well, I do want to come together another time because we're totally neglecting and negating the fact that I had critical illness. I mean, I was very sick during all of that time. Battled with pain and with issues for almost 12 years.
Yep.
So that freedom came as well.
Through this whole time. Yep.
Yeah. So.
Well, more to come.
Thanks for hanging with us. 42 minutes.
Just pray that y'all have a blessed Thanksgiving and moving into the Christmas holidays.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Till next time.
Bye.